okay? The God, who, you know, there are some of us who believe that God is the ground of all being, not a theistic God, okay? But
you're talking deism?
I'm talking about God as the ground, the energy, all of it.
And that would fall into a deistic mindset.
Well, you know, it in a sense it is, and in a sense it isn't. I'm not sophisticated enough to explain it. But just knowing that if I treat you in a godlike manner, and you treat me in a godlike manner with love, which is what we say God is pure energy, pure love, then we are not going to be egocentric.
Right.
We are going to be other-centered. And then also ourselves. Love ourselves, too. But, you know, to get stuck in that mindset of a fundamentalist is truly mind-bending. Truly mind-bending.
It's dangerous.
It is. It's very dangerous, and it's very difficult for me. I know when you and I were talking, you were saying that this is where you're trying to build bridges with people who are set in their ways with issues like this. It's very difficult to talk to them because there's no discussion.
If we know the ultimate truth, and our way is God's way, anybody who disagrees with us in any way, shape, or form is of the world, is of Satan.
And that's a hard pill to chew.
Well, we have a president over the last 8 years who said our way. It's our way or no way. You know, you're either with us or against us, which really reeks with the fundamentalism.
Oh, of course, yes, we know.
How do you enter into diplomacy?
Don't.
You can't.
No.
Well, in America today, the Christian community is represented, by and large, by these fundamentalists.
And the conservatives.
The conservatives really do stem from a fundamentalist mindset. They might describe themselves as born again or evangelical, but the underlying foundation of where they come from is fundamentalism. And, you know, we can look through history and see within the evangelical movement that not all are conservatives politically. Before this president, it was 2/3 were conservatives, vied with the Republicans, and 1/3 were more moderate. President Bush did a superb job of unifying that base.
Yes.
And now we have, in our public schools today, battles in science class over how to teach evolution.
Right.
I mean, we just dig in the ground and look at the layers of soil, and the time period of this earth and the development becomes apparent.
Well, a good fundamentalist would tell you God put that there just to fool you so that your faith would increase.
I was taught that Satan put it there.
Oh, Satan did that.
That is correct.
That's good. Now, what if you say to them, but I don't believe in the personification of evil? You say, well, then you're going to hell anyway. So.
Well, that's their belief.
Yes.
That's leading to a very good point. Are we born in sin?
No.
I absolutely do not believe we're born in sin.
No.
We're born with wiring. We are wired to survive. And if we're not narcissistic and healthy, we're wired to protect our group. Now, as we talked on the phone before today, I mentioned the ethical pyramid.
Yes.
And why don't I discuss that a little?
We have about 3 minutes left.
Well, then this is this is excellent.
Okay, good.
As you mentioned, self-centeredness, narcissism, you know, people who are so involved with themselves. I don't even believe that's even starting to become ethical. The me first. Let's get rich and forget the other. Okay, narcissism. Well, when we start to think about ethics, start to have a sense of right and wrong, we're dealing with tribal ethics. our group. And that's, I hold strongly that is naturally wired in us. Now, it takes thinking. The way to think about people are different, that we might be at war with, that we vehemently disagree with, and how to build that bridge. Well, that's an inclusive mindset, the search for the answers of a good relationship. And that's inclusive, and that's not naturally wired into us. Yeah. It's a difficult thing to master. And I don't believe a person can ever master it. It's a struggle.
Yeah, that's when it takes a dialogue. People who are willing to sit down together and say, what do we have in common?
That's right.
What can we agree on?
Well, we're different on theological basis, but we've had an excellent discussion today, and I think we found that bridge about how we treat each other.
Right.
That we absolutely are walking upon that same bridge.
Right, and those are the kinds of things that we as a church call ourselves ecumenical, because we truly do believe that there is common ground there, that whatever there is a need anybody has, that we will try to bring that to fruition for that person, irregardless of their their denomination, lack of denomination, or whatever, because we do believe that God is in each of us, and that is how we. But it is difficult with people, for me, as for you, who are dismissive of me as a woman, or dismissive of me because I don't belong to their tradition, or that I don't believe what they believe. So I find myself trying to pray not to be intolerant of them.
There's a time to fight, though. There's a time to fight.
Yeah, and there is a time, yes. And we've had to do that.
Equal rights.
That's right.
Loving versus Virginia, 1967, was a time to fight.
Yeah.
Interracial marriage was that law case.
Right. And so those are the kinds of things that, you find that sometimes the mere stopping a person and saying, look, I don't know why you're acting like this with me, okay? But, I'm going to try and understand. Help me understand. And, that you have to come a long way before you can do that.
To reset the tempo of the dialogue.
Exactly. And so I'm so glad that you came on.
It was a pleasure.
And you give us a little bit of this, a taste of humanistic ethics, and it's a beginning where we have to have a different mindset. Okay.
Seeing the value in the other person. Seeing the value.
Exactly. No matter what the base is.
Regardless of whether they're different than us.
Yes. Exactly. So I want to thank you, Paul.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure.
And it was a pleasure to have you.
Absolutely.
And I want to thank those of you out there for listening. And please keep your hearts and your minds open to this voice in the wilderness.